Ronald Reagan had a capacity of being relaxed, seeming relaxed, and at the same time not feeling distracted by, if you were talking to him and somebody came in and announced a Third World War, what it would do to his conversation, I can't predict. But there was one funny thing about him, which I teased him about one time. I was standing next to him in a situation in the Bohemian Grove, where a bunch of people coming in and were shaking his hands. And this particular guy came in with maybe number 16th. And all of a sudden, you know, he was just shaking his hands, his nice smile. And the guy who was shaking hands and said, "Ronnie, George Bush." Yeah, George. His eyes would glaze over at a certain point.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that you know, if you're shaking hands with 200 or 300 people, there's got to be a point at which what you do becomes completely sort of spasmodic. And that he would joke about it to the extent that people were saying that he was getting sleepy.
Yeah.
And you know, he famously dozed occasionally during the cabinet meeting. But his presence was one that sort of, in my experience, demanded a certain amount of congruity. If he was talking, you simply took it for granted that it was interesting. I mean, one time at my house on Thanksgiving, we arrived and had some dinner in the kitchen kind of thing, and he was telling stories. And finally, around 10 o'clock, he said, "I gotta quit. I got 2 more days here." And
I gotta save my stories.
That's right. He had a sense that the inventory was limited.
Yeah.
But as I say, it was a presence, in my opinion, that required attention.
What was his significance to the world, to the country, and to the conservative movement?
In that order?
In that order. As much as you might like to reverse it.
You know, Stephen Vincent Benet wrote a wonderful short story, which I read as a schoolboy. And the short story tells about this young French official and how he observes what happened in Cairo and says, you know, the colonel who ran that just did the wrong thing. And this goes on over a period of 20 or 30 episodes. And all of a sudden he dies. And he's buried. And it's Napoleon Bonaparte. The point he was making there was that if a historical character doesn't arrive at just the right moment, he can be completely irrelevant. Napoleon's ideas of how the Cairo campaign should have been run would have been completely irrelevant if he hadn't been there to run them.
Yeah.
By the same token, I heard Governor Cuomo today saying, there's no way you can take away from Reagan the fact that his term was more or less coterminous with the end of the Soviet Union. You just can't take away that from him. In the same way that you can't take away from Lincoln the fact that the slaves were manumitted when he was president.